Alright, welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're going to be reviewing the classic legendary film Drive 2011, directed by Nicholas Winding Refn, starring Ryan Gosling, Carey Mulligan, Ron Perlman, Albert Brooks, and Bryan Cranston. Star-studded cast, and this is a very simple, straightforward film about a Los Angeles stunt driver who doubles as a hitman at night, very much akin to the Too Old to Die Young series that I reviewed. And it's very clear that Nicholas Winding Refn has a tone and a theme, and some of his films are very similar to the others. Our lead character is not named. He is billed as Driver, and he's a silent, very stoic character who suffers in silence, who meets a young woman living in an apartment complex down the hallway from him. And he forms this relationship with this woman. She has a child, and it's later revealed that her husband is being released from prison. Ryan Gosling works during the day, as mentioned, a Hollywood stuntman, but also sort of a more steady job at a mechanic. He works at a body shop for Bryan Cranston. And although it's not clear, Bryan Cranston seems to be this owner of the body shop and also a hustler, kind of a contractor, manager for Ryan Gosling's character. He's getting him stunt work. He's also getting him heist work. He seems to be involved in the underworld of the Los Angeles crime scene. And our other characters, Ron Perlman is a Italian gangster, or rather a Jewish gangster. It's revealed later in the film. He has a pizzeria as a front, and Albert Brooks is sort of the, I guess he's a captain or a high-ranking mafia person who oversees this operation. And the film starts with Ryan Gosling on the phone describing his time window, and he gives this classic line delivered maybe 2 or 3 times in the film about how if you are outside, or if you're outside of my 5-minute window, then I have nothing to give you, but inside my window, you're all mine, and I will get you where you need to go, and I will safely transport you and your stolen goods. So he's very skilled, he's very talented, and this film is just incredible. This film came out over 10 years ago, and it stands the test of time. This is one of the greatest films ever made. It is certainly Nicholas Winding Refn's greatest work. It is more accessible than all of his other films. Bronson, Too Old to Die Young, Neon Demon, Only God Forgives. Those films are sort of more nuanced, and it's just not accessible to regular audiences. This film is well-paced. It's well-paced, and Ryan Gosling, although stoic and non-expressive and hardly any dialogue, he emotes a lot through his facial expressions. I don't know how to explain it. And this script is clearly very thin. I mean, this entire script must have been 12 pages long. But every single word means something. And Carey Mulligan and his relationship are, it's the chemistry is there. It's a very, very nice, sweet relationship that they have. And sort of the conflict that arises in the film is when Carey Mulligan's husband or ex-husband comes back. He gets out of prison. And it's played by Oscar Isaac, and the character's name is Standard. When Standard is released from prison, he's beaten up and maybe extorted for some money that he owed for protection while in prison, and threatened that if he doesn't deliver, his family will be harmed. And this drives our lead character into action. He is, of course, concerned about this love interest of his and her child. And he's immediately sprung into this heist, this mission. And as paths would sort of collide, his employer, Bryan Cranston, the people that are, sort of in his pocket, Ron Perlman and Albert Brooks, they have some kind of stake with Standard's extortion money. And it's never really, the thing is about this film is nothing is really clearly explained. There are some nuances in this film, and it is enjoyable. It's a Nicholas Winding Refn film, but Ryan Gosling has to ultimately partake in this heist in order to save the wife and child that he loves, or the wife of Standard. And it's the cinematography, the score, the acting, everything. Albert Brooks in this, this is a guy that is normally a comedian, and in this film he is just absolutely chilling. He's scary. He is scary. He's a horror villain in this film. Unbelievable performance from him. Ron Perlman, as always, is the brooding tough guy. And there, with all of the things that you see in this movie, there's a million questions to be asked. Where do these villains come from? There's a lot of dialogue there where they're talking and you're not quite sure where they come from. They're talking about a Philadelphia mafia, and this is a made guy, and what did you do? And this is this guy's money. So it's very clear that these guys are dealing with some heavyweight mafia chieftains somewhere high up. And Ryan Gosling's character, he in the beginning he appears this very gentle, sweet, guy to this woman, Carey Mulligan. But there's a scene in a diner where he's having a meal and sort of having a bad day, and this guy comes up and says, "Hey, we worked together once. You were our driver." And he looks at the guy and he says, "Hey, you know what? You shut your mouth, or I'm gonna kick your teeth in and shut it for you." And you start to peel back the layers of the onion from this character, and he is a vicious lion. And there's another scene that comes to mind where he's sitting on the couch and he's watching cartoons with the woman's child, and there's a shark on TV, and the kid says, "Oh, all sharks are bad." And Ryan Gosling looks over at the kid and says, "All sharks?" And this struck me because it's very reflective of his character. He's sort of like a great white shark. It's nothing personal, but if you're in his path and he needs to strike, he will. And it's clear that this guy, he's maybe searching for something more, but all he's ever known is the job, the mission, the task at hand. And between that, and just the overall tone of the film, there's just such tone in this movie. It's a beautiful film. It's perfectly crafted. There isn't a missed opportunity or a wasted moment with scenes or shots. And I mean, this is a classic, timeless movie that has aged so well. I give it my highest regards. I give this one a 10 out of 10. The best Nicholas Winding Refn film ever made. And Ryan Gosling just absolutely was the only person to play this character. So, guys, let me know what you think of Drive. And if you've seen any other Nicholas Winding Refn films, let me know how you would compare them. And thanks for tuning in. Good night.